Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. Got Eric, Joey, and myself, Matt, here with you guys today to talk a little Honda recap. But before we do that, let's see what we're sipping on. Joey, what do you got?
Boys, back to back curveballs. We got a nice little transfusion tonight.
Oh
So,
boy, about time that thing made an appearance. Love
you
this.
know, yeah, I figured it was time. So, little break from the seltzers this week. Maybe next week we'll see. We'll see what we're feeling. Eric, what about you, bud?
First, I just have a question. Are you still making your transfusions with Fresca? Remember you used to do that.
No. Also, the hat you're wearing, Wade Hampton. That's where they do that. So that's where it introduced me. And honestly, I think I still like them better with Fresca.
All right. I mean, I love Fresca, so I don't hate it. It's just,
Dude, I honestly try it. It's
Yeah.
kind of a nostalgia thing at this point, but
Jesus.
it is, great time, great place. Miss that place, but no, highly recommend trying it with Fresca if you never have.
All right. Well, anyway, I've got a juicy IPA from a local brewery here in Charlottesville, Three Notched, probably my favorite local brewery. It's their spring seasonal IPA, so IPAs are kind of their thing, and this one's pretty tasty, Matt.
I got a little curveball as well. I got a high noon this time. I kind of took Joey's spot with the seltzer gang and had one lingering in the fridge. Found it this morning, and I was like, "Well, that's gonna be tasty when we record later." So going with the high noon tonight. Mix it up, but let's get into the Honda here.
Hold on, would I ask you? Let me ask you. Would you say it's
Hold on. Let's do that live here, right?
I
Live. Yeah, quite delicious. Quite delicious. The seltzers never disappoint. So Honda Classic, obviously we talked about last week, the field kind of sucks, really no way to get around that. Kind of just shitty spot in the schedule now, and just kind of too bad to see like a fun golf course like that kind of go to waste. But Matt Jones comes out on top and kind of dominated all day Sunday. All I really had about him is that he won in really awesome fashion back in 2016 or 15, whatever it was, won in a playoff, hold out of a bunker, whatever it may be, to kind of get into the Masters that next week. And then kind of does something similar here with the Masters approaching, wouldn't be in the field without this win, and gets it done on Sunday. And I love watching him play golf because he steps up and whacks it and steps up and whacks it and like doesn't mess around. Yeah, those are kind of the big things I had with him. And I mean, what did you guys see? I don't know if you guys got to watch it all on Sunday, or if you had anybody else in the field you were watching or anything like that.
Yeah, I watched a fair amount on Sunday afternoon. And he was just rock solid. I mean, he really didn't even think about giving away that golf tournament. I mean, it was, I think after Friday or Saturday, midway through Saturday, it was pretty much his golf tournament to lose. And he didn't even let that be a thought in his head. Like you said, I think he's taken like 3-4 seconds over the ball before he's hitting it. And it's fun to watch someone play that fast. Other than that, yeah, the field wasn't great. So I didn't pay a whole lot of attention while I did have it on the TV. But glad to see kind of that story come through, like you said, him getting back into the Masters. And I think he's a guy that kind of flies under the radar, but one that I think came to light a little bit more this weekend, that he's fun to watch. So I'm excited to see him kind of back in the top of the leaderboard, and then also kind of his name circulating around the news again on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier, I didn't really get to watch any of it. I saw bits and pieces, didn't get to watch too much of it, but I mean, going back to just Matt Jones, his pace of play is absolutely like it's kind of crazy. Like it literally looks like he's setting up for a practice shot, and then all of a sudden, he just swings and hits the ball. It's kind of amusing how fast he's able to really do that. I mean, I think a tweet PGA Tour put up, it was literally within 5 seconds he swings, and like I just went out to the range just to try to even do that. And I don't take up that like long, but like to be that quick, it's absolutely nuts. So, to play that quickly, it's quite impressive. And, we were going to talk about as well how JB Holmes, another guy who is known for playing quite slow. Very impressive how Matt Jones was able to play with him, with a guy who shot, 9 over. So, I know it's always, as we were saying earlier, it's always fun to talk some trash about JB Holmes, so let's have at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good segue, because as fast as Matt Jones plays, that's how slow JB Holmes plays. And JB Holmes is like known for almost doing it on purpose to kind of fuck with his opponents. And for him and Matt Jones to be in the same group and Matt Jones to just dominate, it's one thing to play fast. It's another thing to play fast and play that well. Like, I feel like watching him play is like every once in a while they'll have a weird WD or they'll have an odd number of people and somebody goes out first on Sunday and they try and play in 2 hours or 2 hours, 20 minutes. And you see them like running with their caddy. Like that's how Matt Jones just plays golf, but he does it and like wins golf tournaments. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, I love to see JB Holmes shoot 9 over. Impressive again out of Matt Jones to have somebody playing that poorly in your group and to keep your game going. Like a lot of times you kind of feed off who you're with when you're playing, and to just kind of totally be in your own lane and do it without like getting slowed down by him and being just like annoyed by it all and letting that get to you, especially on a Sunday when you're trying to win again for the first time in a long time. All around just good stuff out of Matt Jones. And then, like you said, Eric, after Saturday afternoon, it was pretty much his to lose. But going into Saturday, it was Aaron Wise's to lose, and he lost it fast. He really struggled on the weekend. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but it was like something like 76, 76 or 78, 75, something up there, just not pretty. He kind of battled. He made a lot of birdies and tried to kind of fight back. But, I mean, the putter on the short putts was hard to watch. I think he had a 4-putt or like two 4-putts and like 6 3-putts on the weekend alone. And for a professional golfer, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
That's I don't even know what to compare that to. It's just not, I don't know. He's got some, clearly that's mental demons there. I think he was 12 under through the first 2 days and finished 4 under. And I think the winning score was 12 under. So it just kind of lets you know like how hard he crashed on the weekends. But he's a young guy. I think it's all learning experience, stuff like that. I hopefully he's been quiet since he kind of made his debut, but get back in the mix this weekend. He probably hasn't been there in so long and kind of holy shit moment and kind of got the best of him, but hopefully he bounces back and nothing too serious there. I was curious if you guys had any thoughts on like the next steps for Honda, because I'd imagine Honda themselves, like, each sponsor pays, however many millions of dollars to sponsor a tournament. Like they got to be a little bit like, hey guys, like, can we this used to be a marquee event. Tiger used to play in this, Rory's won it in the past. Like used to have big names and big events. The schedule changes and now we're screwed. Like nobody watches because nobody's playing that they know. I mean, there's got to be, I don't know if you think there'd be any kind of, I don't know how that all works, like the contracts and all that crap, if they even can push back, but I'd imagine at this point, they got to be like, hey guys, like we got to renegotiate or you got to get us more people in this field or like something, right?
Yeah, I think, like you said, with the contracts, I would assume that they're probably locked in some way for X amount of years at a certain price. But when that contract does come time to be renewed or whatever, you got to think that Honda's got quite a bit of bargaining power just with how weak that the field has gotten. I think in the past like 8 years, the field in the field kind of rating scale that they put together for world golf rankings and stuff like that, the strength of field has fallen like 4 times on the point value. So it's pretty crazy how, like you said, Tiger used to play in it. It used to be kind of a who's who tournament. Everybody's playing in it. And just with some of the schedule shuffling and so forth, it's just a convenient week now for a lot of guys to take off. And Honda kind of gets the short end of the stick there. So who knows kind of where the tournament will go in the future. I would think that they would still want to sponsor the tournament. I think they're probably one of the longest running sponsors of an event on tour. And you'd think that a company like Honda, as big as they are, wants to continue to have their name out there and on the PGA Tour. It's just, what does that sponsorship look like going forward if the field is going to continue to be as weak as it is? It's hard to really say, but I would think that Honda's probably not too happy about what has happened over the last few years with the field.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. I don't really honestly have much else for that subject of the matter. I mean, hopefully going forward, I mean, obviously, like we were saying, it's a solid course, so it'd be exciting to see some good players there. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I didn't really watch that much of it is just because it doesn't have that, it doesn't have that feel. It doesn't draw that attention there as much. So, yeah, I will say I believe Kiradech did make the cut. Shot. I think he finished dead last though at 4 over or something like that. So
he was dead last after making the cut.
Dead last, but hey, made the cut. All that really matters, It's the important thing right now. He made some money
over on Sunday. He actually was kind of in the mix after the cut too. Like he was like 30th. He was like a couple under. Obviously, it was way off the lead, but he was like in a decent position.
Yeah, it
And
could.
then just wheels fell off or something. I mean, it did get harder on the weekend, but yeesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least, hey, good for the Rat making a cut. One step forward.
One step at a time. He'll get there. Give it to baby steps, boys. Baby steps.
Would have loved to see him in the mix. I need some more vape content out of
Yeah,
him.
I need it.
I was gonna say he must not have purchased a car recently or something like that. I don't know if you heard that story about him buying things to put pressure on himself to play well in golf tournaments when he didn't have any money. He would just go out and buy like $1 million car that he couldn't afford and put pressure on himself to play well in the golf tournament that week.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a guy.
It's fantastic.
Love that guy.
Quite the approach. I don't know if that worked for me, but
One approach.
One approach.
Unrelated. Did you guys see on Twitter? I forget who it was that tweeted it. I think someone that worked for Barstool. They're on a flight to Vegas, and guy sitting next to him didn't bring a thing, just like his wallet and his phone. Didn't bring a thing to Vegas to put pressure on himself to win. So he can buy the things that he needs.
I love that. All right, maybe we're going about this the wrong way. Maybe we gotta put our backs against the wall here and see what we're made of or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Approach this summer to golf. Just
yeah.
It's like what was that? Is that Arnold Palmer quote or maybe like Sevy or somebody? It's like you don't know pressure until you got a putt for $5 with only 2 in your pocket or something like that.
Yeah, it's Lee Trevino. But yeah.
All right, I was in the right era. At least.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But yeah, we got maybe I gotta start doing that, making some money matches that I physically can't afford and see what happens.
Yeah.
Either that or it might end up in a ditch. I don't know.
It might end up in a grave, but
all right, let's get into, we already kind of did a WGC episode earlier this week and, gave that its full attention going through the bracket and whatnot. So let's do a little, we got the major coming up, WGC. It's a good kind of split point in the season where we kind of rotate out of Florida and start buzzing around in some different areas, a little bit of Texas here, and then obviously Augusta coming up in a few weeks. Let's do a little season recap. Let's go West Coast, Florida swing, all that stuff. Before we get into the specific swings, who are your guys, top 2 or 3 like winners and losers and who surprised you? Stuff like that for the first half of the season, going back to, Tournament of Champions in Hawaii up till this week before the match play.
I'm going to have to go back and try to find a list of all the winners. You expect me to remember all of them?
I'm going to have one guy that stood out that like,
like JT winning just, 2 weeks ago now. I mean, that's obviously anyone who wins a Players, that's something that's going to stick out with the season, the beginning of the season recap. But, yeah, I'm trying. Let me do some research of some past tournaments.
Can't believe you're letting your boy slip through the cracks here to somebody else. But all right.
Yeah, I'll kick it off a little bit. Winners, I would say, even though he hasn't won, Jordan. I think he's back. I think we can officially say that he's back. I feel like for the past 2 months he was right around the top 10 in the leaderboard every Sunday. I
saw a stat today from like Ryan something, one of the Golf Channel guys that tweets all the time. He's been plus in strokes gained approach for like 22 of his last 24 rounds.
Wow.
Like he's gonna be a problem. If he's doing that, he's got the irons going a little bit and he's taking some stress off that putter and freeing it up.
Yep.
Augusta.
I would say him, even though Justin Thomas, that Players win was pretty impressive. I don't know. I think he obviously had it going on Sunday and kind of ran away with it a little bit, but he got smoked today by Kuchar. I think he's still a little bit rusty, a little bit all over the place. I would say my second winner, I'm gonna say Bryson. Bryson again played solid and continued to kind of back up what he's been doing. Who knows how long it'll last, but he's still proving everybody wrong. So I got to think that the start to his year is one that he has been proud of for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going. Jordan was definitely going to be my number one, just because it's nice to see him back in the mix, and like it's not a fluke, right? We were all nervous of that the first time he kind of showed out at Waste Management, but he's kind of backed it up week over week over week since then and kind of built on it. I also got Brooks in there just because his last year or so was like last year he did not play well. like especially the end of the year. I know he's been battling injuries, clearly had another surgery, but for him to kind of gut out a win at the Phoenix just to be like get himself back in the mix, back on, planet Earth really, because it was getting ugly. And even the start of the season for him too, like the West Coast swing really was like until Waste Management was bad. Like he missed cuts, like 3 or 4 cuts in a row or whatever. For him to kind of bounce back, get back in the mix, I had him as one of my guys. I think finally, like, got back in the mix, solidified himself. Bryson again too. I think that's awesome that he's, like you said, just backing up all the stuff that he talks about all the time. It's like he's proving time and time again that he's not here on accident. Whether it's and he's now building the resume of like he's got like a pre, get huge and a post get huge phase of his career, and he's got like 3 or 4 wins in the get huge career side, and the pre he's got 3 or 4 too. So he's starting to build up quite a lot of wins, like kind of sneakily. He kind of spreads them out and like hits them real quick in a few months and goes a little bit without it and whatever. But I had him on my list of guys that the winning or whatever. I had Patrick Reed too. I just think him winning at Torrey, he again, like, he goes silent for a while and then he wins big events like that. He won Mexico last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. But other than that, he was quiet after that. Not really anything special in the majors. And then, to win back at Torrey at a big course like that with I think it's the U.S. Open's there this year, right? So yeah, it's good. I think he's back on the scene, right? Back at Captain America mode, whatever the hell you want to call it, where he kind of fell off for a while. Joe, you got any guys that really disappointed this first quarter of the season?
Disappointed. I mean, Kiradek, obviously. No. No. I mean, obviously, we're all disappointed in Rory, right? I would say that would be the biggest disappointment, but I'm in a weird spot with Rory, honestly. Like, I like him. Like, if I could have anyone swing on tour, I'm taking his. But like, I don't know. There's just something about him. Maybe I like him. Don't get me wrong, but like the fact that he's just always in trouble, not in trouble, but like struggling, right? Like he is right now. I just feel like he's way too good to be in this spot so often. As often as he is, and I get it. It's the hardest game in the world. Like it happens, right? But I feel like he's just got so much potential that this shouldn't be happening as often as it does. Like, I mean, you say it all the time. The dude should literally be winning, however, X amount of times per season, and just isn't getting it done. So, I mean, as far as disappointments go, yeah, I would say he's the biggest one so far, but that's really all I would really say. And yeah. What about you guys? Well, who would you say is anyone disappointments for you guys?
I had Xander on this list too.
Yeah. Good.
He came out the first few tournaments of the year and was kind of his usual self in the mix, right? In that top 15, top 10, like just super solid. Then had a chance at Waste Management. Honestly, he probably should have won Waste Management given the way everybody just crumbled and it kind of fell to Brooks.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the ones that crumbled, right? Like he had his opportunities. He hits it in the water on 16 or whatever there. Like he probably should have won that. And since then it's been kind of bad. Like, I mean, at least to his standards, I mean, he's still making cuts and whatever, but like, I don't know. I kind of, after being as solid as he's been the last 2 years, like he just still doesn't win, right? He's kind of got a little bit of that Finau to him. I mean, it's not nearly Finau status, but he's kind of got a little bit of that to him where it's like he doesn't seem to get it done when he's in the lead or in the mix. He's won chasing a couple times, and I just had him as like I expected him this fall, especially on the West Coast swing, with how he was in the mix all the time. He's all right. He's got to get one, and now he's kind of going backwards. I hope he kind of turns it around come major season. We're getting there where there'll be 3 in 3 months, and they'll kind of come quick. But yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a lot more from him. I don't think he's really done too much. I think he missed the cut at the Players too, maybe. I don't know. I could be off with that, but it hasn't been pretty the last few weeks. So I had him on my list, and then obviously Finau. I mean,
can you call that a disappointment or just like
yes.
that's just
now it's like all right, now it's a problem. It's like
I know.
go into the year, everybody's talking about, it's like, all right, well, like, whatever. And then he gave himself again, I mean, he does it every time, but he's like in the mix every time, and he does the same thing every time. It's like,
No.
eventually it's got to flip. So, I mean, disappointment probably isn't the right word, but like, definitely like he had opportunities to step out of that and he let him slide by again. So it's like, how many opportunities you're going to have in a year? It's like, it's kind of tough. But Eric, who'd you have on your kind of disappointment list?
Mine is, and it extends beyond kind of just the beginning of this year, but it's Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, good one.
He obviously is struggling. I think it's well known that he's been struggling with his game. I just took a quick look at his world golf ranking. He's now ranked 90th in the world. And pretty much exactly 2 years ago, the 2019 Masters, he was ranked 9th in the world. So in two years, he's fallen 81 spots in the world rankings without really being hurt, with pretty much continuously playing that 2-year stretch. He's fallen 80 spots in the world rankings.
That's a lot of missed
which is obviously pretty damn tough to swallow. As far as I can tell, though, I mean, he's in all of his interviews and everything, he's taken it as good as he can and being positive still. And I hope to see him back. I think he's a fun player to watch when he's playing well. So he's my biggest disappointment, just being a fan of his and watching him continuously struggle.
That's tough.
Yeah, I feel like it's that same thing as Jordan, right? They're good. They got the skill. They'll be back. That's just the nature of the game that we play, right? You go through these droughts. But I will say just quickly on that note of Ricky, his irons, dude, those things are like butter. Like, they're so nice off the face. I just wanted to be able to tell you guys that. They are so nice.
I mean, you can't miss it. There's no room to not.
You can't. Like, if I was to ever get them, I would, I'd go 7 through pitch. I wouldn't go any higher. No. I maybe wouldn't even get the 7, but that's what the demo was. And I mean, but when you hit it, it doesn't feel like anything. It's beautiful.
True. I had a couple like honorable mentions. I think I forgot to mention Lee Westwood.
Sungjae
definitely had a good resurgence. I'd have him in the winner column here, Lee Westwood, because he hasn't done shit on the PGA Tour in a long time, and it was good to see him back in the mix. Even though it was 2 weeks, it was 2 big events, so it wasn't some fluke off field event or whatever. Morikawa getting a WGC, I thought that was good. I feel like when you're one of those young guys that comes out and gets that huge win early in your career, like he got the PGA, I think it's important to win again quickly so you don't so you prove to yourself that's not a fluke, and then you're just more comfortable. I feel like when you get one early and all of a sudden your game kind of falls away from you, you're like, oh God, and then it spirals quickly. So it's good for him to kind of get right back on the horse and win. It's a WGC. It was obviously at concession, which is different. It's supposed to be in Mexico, blah, 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 all this kind of weird stuff. But I love seeing him just follow it up, because I think his golf swing is, I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times now, but he's going to be a very serious problem for the PGA Tour for the next 10 years. I mean, he doesn't even have to putt well to win. It's just got to be not abysmal, and he's right there every week. So
he's only going to get better at putting.
Right, exactly. And honestly, I think the no laying up guys mentioned this, so not to totally rip them off, but he just should change his putting grip every month. Just get in the honeymoon phase, I mean, I feel like that same thing too. Like when I'm trying putters out, or if I'm trying drivers out or trying something out, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then 3 weeks later, you miss it the same way you missed the thing you had before it, right? Like it goes right back to yourself. It's not the, it's not the, not the Indian, it's there or whatever it is. It's not the arrow, it's the Indian. So it's like, he should just keep doing the honeymoon phase thing, because he won the second event. He went to that claw. Like, why not? Just keep switching it up. Who cares? As long as you don't touch your golf swing, because that's borderline perfect, just keep switching. Who cares?
Mess around. Put lefty for a tournament if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an option. Let's take a quick break before we get into the most memorable event moments, whatever, and dive a little deeper into the West Coast swings to just plug the social. Eric, you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yes, sir. So podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. It seems like most of our listeners out there are on Spotify and Apple Music, but pretty much everywhere else, Amazon Music and so forth. Instagram, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We did a pretty fun little giveaway contest for the match play this week, and hoping to kind of do some more fun contests and giveaways and stuff like that here in the future. Twitter, where you can find the latest kind of live takes and opinions, especially when golf tournaments are on TV. Bogey Proof blog website, where we post some of our blog posts just a little bit more into detail about what's going on in the world of golf. And then YouTube, all of our podcast episodes are available on YouTube, along with some other fun videos, what's in the bag videos. And then as the weather gets nicer, we'll hopefully have some more golf content out on the golf course up on the YouTube page.
Love it. Thank you. All right, let's go now that we've kind of first quarter of the season, whatever you want to call it. Most memorable event or like moment, like which tournament was your favorite, or which, like, I don't know, like specific day of a specific tournament or shot, whatever you want to call it. Joey, you look puzzled, so we're gonna go to Eric first.
I'll say, let's see, most memorable. Gosh, this is most memorable day of a tournament. I'm gonna say Sunday of the Genesis, Max Homa. That was a really fun final round to watch. I'd say I'm a little biased with that opinion because I had money on Max Homa to win that event, and he did. So that made it even more fun and obviously even more memorable for me. So that will definitely be the most memorable. I think the best tournament we've gotten so far as like the best finish goes, I mean, that one's definitely up there. The Torrey Pines finish with Patrick Reed was really good. And then, I mean, Arnold Palmer was fun, kind of watching the roller coaster that final round was.
Even Pebble was fun to watch towards the end. With
Yeah. So I'll go. My favorite event that we've had so far is the Genesis and that final round specifically.
Love it. Joey, what do you got?
I feel like we might as well bring it back up. Obviously not going to get into it, but I would say probably one of the most memorable things, the Patrick Reed incident again, right? Just kind of adding to his own resume. And, I'll be the one to bring it up, being a known Patrick Reed guy on the record. But, I would say that's probably one of the more popular, memorable things that happened going this year, or this beginning of the season. And then, going back to even Arnold Palmer, just like Bryson trying to drive the green on number 6, it's just that moment right there, and him raising his arms like it is a world, like it is actually the World Long Drive Championship. It's something like that it's kind of, I think that was good for the game. It kind of just stirred up the crowds a little bit more, and hopefully brought a little bit more attention to the game as well. So I would say those are what I think is the most memorable from the season kickoff so far.
On that note, Joe, it's so good to see crowds again.
Yeah.
I think Arnold Palmer was, I think, where we really first started to see a true crowd again.
Yeah.
Obviously Florida COVID restrictions are a little looser than everywhere else. And then now they're in Texas, which is the same thing. So it's nice to see fans out there on the golf course again. I remember, I forget who I said it to, but during the week of the Arnold Palmer, they were showing highlights of Jordan Spieth's round. And I just quickly looked at the TV and watched it. And I thought they were showing highlights from 2 years ago in the tournament because there were so many fans.
Right.
So just a quick note on that. It's nice to see fans.
That's a good point.
Definitely one of the highlights of the Florida swing is like showing some progress. We're getting back to normalcy. I'm going. My most memorable day was Saturday at Waste Management with the full Jordan Spieth roller coaster. And that was a day where every time you saw the TV, somebody was making a birdie or stuffing one or making a bomb, or Jordan was doing some crazy shit. Like, that was such a fun day of golf to watch. That one would definitely, and that was like, again, that was the beginning of like the resurgence of Jordan and like getting him back in the mix. And I was like, let's go. Like, this was so fun. Like, and that was after, forget what tournaments before. I don't know if it was Torrey before it or a different one or whatever, but like it was right after one that was kind of like, like with the finish or whatever, or like kind of the day-to-day like coverage. But that was like, oh, we are like, let's go. Like, this is golf. Like, I'm excited to watch this. I'm like on the edge of my seat every shot. I'm like screaming at the TV and stuff. That was probably my favorite like day of golf to watch. And I think the best tournament was probably, I think I'm going to go Riv too. I just love that golf course. And I love seeing Max. I think he was a big winner of this first quarter of the season too. I mean, he was top 10 for like 4 weeks in a row, I think, and capped it off with a win. I think on that note, let's do one last little kind of random round the horn thing. Favorite course that you want to play, not just like best course, but favorite course you want to play from each swing, and then least favorite one or one you'd least like to play.
All right. So California or West Coast swing.
You include Hawaii in the West Coast too. Obviously.
Okay.
Come on.
West Coast. Yeah, that makes it that does make it a little tougher, but deciding between Kapalua and Pebble. I'll probably go Pebble just because it's Pebble. And most West Coast swing course I'm least interested in playing. Gosh, maybe Wailea.
Yeah, the other Hawaii one out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a combination of the field that they get for it or what, but that tournament, I just typically don't really ever watch much of it just because it doesn't do much for me. So other than it being in Hawaii, it doesn't have much attraction to me. So those are my two for the West Coast swing. Joe?
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm not going to give you a course that doesn't interest me because, like, I've always said I wish I could play every golf course in the world. I don't care if it's great or bad. So no golf course that disinterests me. I'll play it.
Oh,
so I would, if you're going to make me choose one, then I'll choose one, but
I'll let you stick to that take. I'll let you have
that's fair.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that, actually. Most I want to play, though, seeing Eric picked Pebble, like, obviously that's up there, but I would probably say, Riviera, if that's the case. Just either that or Torrey. Never being to California, and those two courses all three of them. Any course over there, they just look unbelievable.
West Coast swing is pretty awesome.
But Riviera, it's you ask any player on tour, they always say that's one of their favorite courses to play. And every time you watch it, it's just so unique and such a different type of layout. So I'd say that's probably the course on the West Coast swing that I'd want to play the most.
Love that. I'm gonna go favorite. I'm gonna go Kapalua just because you took Riv. Riv would have been my pick, but Kapalua would be awesome. Just you're on an island. It's island golf, and there's some good holes out there too. Like 18, I think would be so fun to play. Just to see how like that works for normal people. Like seeing how hard it is to hit that rope hook with like the ball way above your feet and like not just snipe it in the woods on the left every time.
Yeah.
Like that would be a fun course to play, and obviously the views would be awesome on the coast and all that fun stuff. And honestly, if I'm gonna pick a West Coast one, I really don't care for. I think I'm gonna go Torrey. It just seems too hard. I don't know if it'd be fun to play. Like obviously the history is there. It holds U.S. Opens. It's a championship golf course. But if I'm going to tee it up, like I don't know, like I'd make fun of it. I'd have fun with it, obviously. But like I feel like that one would be like the biggest grind where it's like, oh my God, I'm in the rough again. I gotta have 4-iron again. Like I wouldn't be able to. It's like it'd be so hard to make a birdie out there. It's like how much fun is that going to be when you just?
You ever played Bethpage?
Huh?
Have you ever played Bethpage?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. All right.
It's similar to that. I think, it could kind of make sense, right? But yeah, I just feel like it's like, oh my God, like I'm like tired. Like, it'd be like, I'd be whacking drivers and having to like chunk a wedge out, hit a hybrid in on par fours all day. Like,
yeah.
Unless I just put these up, but I wouldn't do that. So it's like, I think that one would just be like, as nice it is, and it's got all the history. And, I think there are some holes out there that would be really fun, but 90% of them are going to be a bear, and it's going to be like, holy fuck. Like, I got no shit. Like, I'm be grinding to make bogeys instead of doubles all day. And I don't know if that's fun. All right. Florida swing now. We're going to start Florida swing off. It was at Concession.
Yeah.
Wild. I'm going to go. I think I might. I don't know which way to go here. I'm going to go. I feel like, it's probably a popular answer, obviously, but like I would like to play Sawgrass. I'd like to see what Pete Dye has got to offer. I've played some Pete Dye courses, but I feel like wonky courses kind of work out better for me because most wonky courses people put the driver away, and for me, I just grab it even more. And it's just like, that's where I kind of like, I don't know, that's fun golf to me, is like squeezing driver in versus just hitting 4-irons or whatever. I would never do that. So I think obviously Sawgrass would be fun. Obviously the island green would be a good test. I'd almost guarantee I'd whiff a 9-iron in the front left water, just like toe one out there. But and then least favorite on here, Concession just seems like, again, it just seems fucking hard. I don't know. The course was a beast. Like, I don't know how, like, they're pros, so obviously they make it look, normal, and they shot 15 under or whatever Morikawa was, but I don't know. I think that one would beat me up too much too. I don't know how much fun I'd have out there. But Joey, what do you got for Florida?
Yeah, for Florida, I mean, I was gonna say the same, just about Sawgrass, and then I would go, Bay Hill, but I played there and I've expressed before I want to go back there. So, but that's not going to be my answer. For that reason, I will say Concession, just being a new, not even new, but maybe just a one-time season this year. And granted, I will say I didn't get to watch it and see it as much as I'd like, but like seeing what I saw online from people saying it, obviously, just said what you did, saying it was hard, but like in a way, I kind of like playing those types of courses and just see how bad it beats me up. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Granted, you come out of the day and you're like, you hate your life. You're just like, why did I just do that to myself? But it's kind of fun to be able to see how good those guys really are when, you're in the same, not the same situation, but in a similar situation as they are. And then I guess least favorite.
I thought you were picking favorites.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Eric.
I'm the same with you, Joe. I'm gonna pick Concession as what I most want to play. I think I would want to go out there and play it though at like 6,300 yards, somewhere around there, make it a little bit more fun, hitting more wedges and stuff like that, like the pros were, because you got rewarded for hitting good shots out there, it seemed like, and there was a lot of fun pins where you could kind of get a little creative with your approach shots too, and have to get creative around the greens too. So it seemed like it would be fun to go out there and just play a casual round of golf and maybe not have to put the ball in the hole 18 times. And then least favorite or least course I want to play is probably PGA National. I don't really want to go out there and lose like 12 golf balls. That just doesn't sound fun to me. So
there's a lot of water.
There's so much water that, I mean, I would probably set the over under of golf balls lost probably like 5.5, 6.5 at least. And that's just not fun. So, and it seems like it's always fucking windy there too. Yeah. So yeah, that's just not a fun combination to me. So that's how I'm wrapping up the Florida swing.
I like it. All right, guys. Anything else season recap to this point, or Honda, or anything else you guys got?
I just want to say Patrick Reed's putting stroke, man, is just
perfect.
It's so good. I'm sorry, I have it on, and it's so good. Like him or hate him, he's just solid golfer. But no, that's all I got.
All right, guys, on that note, we're talking. We'll talk again next week. Cheers.
Well, cheers,
next week, boys.